thing.
Nope. No. Well, no. That's not a Jitsi thing. That's a Store's an Idiot thing. Now we're streaming live to YouTube.
Well,
But we have been recording the whole time.
at least you just admitted that you were an idiot before, so
Yeah.
Hey, Red. Now you can see our smiling faces.
Sorry about that, Red. Okay, so
there you go, Red. This one's for you, buddy.
There you go.
Hey, CJ.
Okay, so what I will say is if you need to send information, single files, or chat on a local area network, snapdrop.net is unbelievably cool and useful. And if you do not trust snapdrop.net, they do have all of their source code available as a downloadable on GitHub. You can literally download it yourself, host it yourself, and you could be literally in Antarctic, not connected to the public internet, and you could have multiple things connected to your own network. And using this WebRTC platform, you could send files and chat over your local network without having any software installed. It supports Android 4.4 and up, Chrome 26 and up, Firefox 23 and up, Edge 14 and up, and Safari 11 and up. And I'll just put it like this. This is the kind of thing that, in air quotes, just works as long as you allow notifications in your browser. That's the only hang up I found was when I go to the actual Snapdrop website, there's a bell in the top right-hand corner. You have to click the bell and allow notifications to see files being pushed towards you or chats being pushed towards you.
I like this a lot. This is something that the Internet in a Box project that I help with. This might be something to add to that would be pretty beneficial if it's running on a Raspberry Pi. If this runs on a Raspberry Pi and you can just swap between people with their phones, send pictures to each other or whatnot.
I do believe it should work on ARM platform from what I've read. Yes. Okay. One more link I had to bring before we go too much further, and that is I saw more than a couple platforms that don't mind taking money from people for headlines, is the way that I'll put it, actually talk about this, which was a pleasant change of pace. Vivaldi. Vivaldi is a Chromium-based Android browser that I, Door-to-Door Geek, not Podnutz, I, Door-to-Door Geek, personally believe the people behind Vivaldi have much, much better intentions behind them than the people who do the Brave browser. I said it. You can download the Vivaldi browser for Android, and it has native ad blocking and tracking protection built in. And the native ad blocking built in is basically uBlock origin, which I will say Brave doesn't do that level of ad blocking as far as I'm concerned. I could be wrong, but I'm not, because, I do my research. So if you like a more of an ad-free experience, yet a full-featured mobile browser, I cannot encourage you more. Check out Vivaldi browser on Android. I think it's one of the better options you have there available to you.
I was using an app you brought a couple months ago, the cookie jar or whatever the heck that
Smart
one was.
Cookie.
I didn't find it pleasant.
I will say convenience and security are on the opposite ends of an unbendable pole.
Well, the only reason I bring that up is because this, I'll give Vivaldi a try. I've used it as a browser before, and
yeah, On that spectrum, Smart Cookie is unbelievably more secure, not very convenient whatsoever. Vivaldi, to me, does a very good job of balancing the two. It is pretty convenient, yet it's still pretty secure. If you're diehard on secure, then you really have to use something like Firefox Focus or Smart Cookie browser. But if you crave convenience, but you still want to be security minded, is the way that I'll use it. Vivaldi to me is one of the better choices you can do.
It sounds cool too.
Okay, now I have to say this word before I forget. Jedentageinset. And I'm sure 3/4 of the people just said, "What in the hell did you say?" Jedentageinset was a application that was gifted to me by an unbelievably cool guy in Discord. And I will say this: the Podnutz Discord is, for the most part, quiet, but I'm a part of more than just Podnutz Discord. Just like on every Podnutz show, I freely mention other people's podcasts. I'll also mention other people's Discord channels. And I'll say, Nightwise launched his own Discord channel, which was almost insanely busy. And Yaden, I already forgot it. Jedentageinset was an application that was suggested to me by a unbelievably cool German fella. And he said, this is the kind of application, if you're a music lover, you absolutely have to check out. And one of the links will be to also a 3-hour YouTube video where 3 seconds in, the guy in basically American English says Jedentageinset. So that was the only reason why I was able to even pronounce this application. Basically, this is a dance electric music discovery application available on F-Droid. You basically load the application up, hit play, hit random, and you will be enchanted by the world of electronic dance music, whether it be from South Africa, whether it be from Germany, whether it be from Brazil, Japan, Canada, or any place else. This is a very world-based, is what I'll say, music player. And the guy's name who shared it with me, I'm sure I can't pronounce without extremely insulting him, so I won't. So I'll just say, if you want to experience, one second. Jedentageinset. And that's the closest I can ever get to it again. If you want to check out one of the premier electric dance music applications, you have to go to F-Droid. And I'll thank everybody who sends me these kind of links. I try to bring as many of them as I can, even when they're completely impronounceable to my incompetent first world American self. I did actually download this and I did actually play it for a little bit. And I was shocked at every time I hit next track, how diverse the music was. It didn't all sound the same. It wasn't stereotypical as far as I'm concerned. And I played a couple for my oldest son, and he just sat there and he just said, the only thing I can say about this music is it took a lot of thought to make it. And I definitely agree with him when he says that.
Was it the developer that sent it to you?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. It's a guy on Discord who I've interacted with off and on for years. And he randomly just shoots me a link and says, "Hey, Dor, this is cool." And every time he sends me a link, it's an Android app. So I got to believe he listens to this show. And I'm sure if I tried to pronounce his name, he would send me a message correcting me on his name. So I'm not even going to try it. But this is an extremely good application in the notes if you want to follow electric dance music, and it's spelled Jedentageinset. And just spelling it hurt my brain.
Um, this is open source too. This is I just found it on GitLab. I'm I would imagine it's the same thing.
Mhm.
Jedentageinset
Yes.
Android. So yeah, cool.
Well, basically anything that's available on F-Droid, and I'm almost saying this too strongly, and I really apologize. Almost anything that's available on F-Droid will be completely open. It isn't always completely open, but it seems like it's mostly always completely open.
I did not realize that.
Um, One of the things in F-Droid, whenever you scroll down, it has one of the first things listed is what is the license, and
Mm.
it's almost always GPL. Very cool.
I'm gonna speak about an app, um, which I know you're familiar with, but it's Passman, and it's the Nextcloud password manager. And I've tried to, well, I made an effort to switch over from LastPass, and I've tried the Nextcloud alternative, or one of the Nextcloud alternatives, and I don't think I can do it. It's just not polished at all, and I'm not sure it's even still under development. And so I think I'm just going to scrap the idea of using Nextcloud as a password manager.
I w- I wish I could say you're wrong. I don't think you are. Um, this was a great extension for Nextcloud that they somebody put a lot of effort in, but there's a lot of, let's say, circumstances they did not take into consideration, which makes it for a lot of people completely unusable unless you have like a genuine URL that you own, and you have and it doesn't always work with Let's Encrypt, which is one of the SSL providers that's easier to use because it's free. Um, there are certain limitations baked into this application that were hard stops for me. I tried to use the damn thing off and on for 2 months because I want to use something else besides LastPass, and I do not want to use KeyPass because anything that uses the clipboard to me is like not developed by someone with a higher IQ than like 95, which, apes are like 90, are like 86. So, um, I wanted to use this. I tried to use this. I couldn't use this.
No, it's a bit disappointing. I know that we both were working through how to get it even started. I was having some serious issues with even importing, the export from LastPass. It is unfortunate, but there's another one on Nextcloud, which it's just called Password, I think, or something like that. So maybe I'll look into that. But there was something that that I couldn't get past, even reading the description. There's some insecurity with it. I can't even remember what it was.
Well, what I'll say is nothing is secure. If someone claims absolute security, you as an end user should never believe them. In my belief, for people to openly open the trench coat and say, here are my vulnerabilities," it's almost like honest of them. Um, you as an end user have to determine which vulnerabilities are you okay with accepting. Um, that's why the people who choose things like KeyPass, I'm not going to say they're wrong. I just hope they understand what they're accepting. Um, I accept LastPass for now. I accept the fact that LogMeIn is the company behind them. And any day now, they're going to lay the screws to me. They haven't done it yet. So for now, I'm going to keep using them.
And it's a polished product. I've never really had any problems with LastPass. I think it's just a matter of, yeah, as soon as they were bought by LogMeIn, I started looking. Not in any rush, but just in a manner of, okay, they're getting so big as well that the attack surface, not necessarily, well, the attack surface as well is growing because they start adding more features and functionality. But just the mainstream, of it, almost, it's kind of like your Plex argument or idea. It's just once you start getting that big, then you become a target. It's why Linux doesn't have nearly as many viruses or anything as Windows. It's just why you don't need to attack the small guy. You go for the big guy.
Well, the old word is low hanging fruit. You never want to be a part of the low hanging fruit, the easy targets, like systems like KeyPass, like systems like Bitwarden, like systems like LastPass, like systems like Microsoft Windows, like systems like Mac OS X. You do not want to be in part of the low hanging fruit because it means you're going to be part of an attack spectrum, even though you did nothing except just choose something that everybody else also have chosen. So be careful, everybody out there. The only constant is change, including your preferences should change over time. But my attempt at a transition, something that should not change over time is who is a successful game platform and who is not. And Gameloft is one of the platforms that have been successful for a long time. There's a completely free application out there. You don't need to have in-app ads. You do not need to have in-app purchases, and it's completely free, and it's completely T for teen by Gameloft SE, called Gameloft Classic 20 Years, 15,000 reviews, 4.7 average reviews, updated April 23rd, 2020, 77 megs in size, 500,000 plus installs. Current version 1.2.4 requires 4.1 Android and up. Content rating T for teen, violence, blood, simulated gambling, and a little bit more than that. On the permissions tab, storage, photo, other, full network access. In short, this is a completely free way to access a huge amount of the content that Gameloft has released in the last 20 years, including games like Nova. Um, if you're a fan at all of first person shooters on the mobile platform and you've never experienced Nova, you really need to stop listening to this podcast, hit pause, download Nova, and play it. It's almost like the Doom, yet for Android. It runs that dang smooth. They also have things like Motocross, which is another classic. Uh, Modern Combat, Gangster. They have some like Frozen Bubble type games as well because everybody does. I definitely encourage people, if you want some free gaming to take up your time, Gameloft Classics 20 Years is a fantastic download that you can do. You don't have to worry about ads, you don't have to worry about in-app purchases, and it will just work.
And that's all free.
Completely free, completely, utterly free. Um, the actual games that are installed, I want to say there's almost 20 games. Um, Bubble Bash 2, Brain Challenge 3, Diamond Rush, Detective Ridley, Acroball, which I can't pronounce, Gangster 2, Zombie Infection, Modern Combat 2, Nova, Near Orbit, Vanguard Alliance. I had no idea that's what Nova stood for. Wild West Guns, Zombie Wood, Alien Quarantine, My Life in New York, Vampire Romance, Miami Nights, Fashion Icon, Date of the Ditch 2, High School Hookups, Soul of the Darkness, Hero of Serpia, Cannonball Rats, Block Breakers 2 Deluxe, Block Breakers 3 Ultimate, Motocross Trial Extreme, Platinum Solitaire 3, Texas Hold'em Poker, Midnight Bowling 3, Midnight Pool, Avalanche
etc.
Snowballing, KO Legends.
High
Easily,
school hookups. That sounds right along the lines of Leisure Suit Larry.
it very well could be. I'll put it like this. There's no doubt this is called Gameloft Classic 20 years. There's no doubt you could easily have 20 plus hours of free content available if you download this game. Again, I'm not hearing other people promote these kinds of things because they're not clickbaity kind of things like, you know, that horrible game just got released to Android. I can't remember what it's called now. The game my kids couldn't stop playing 3 or 4 months ago. Now they don't play at all.
Oh, is that the one that you brought a couple months ago?
Yeah.
That I have no idea, and I can't remember because I don't know what it is.
It's a horrible third person shooter that was available on all platforms where you could dance a lot. I can't remember what it's called. And if you know the name of it, please don't send me an email at aaa@podnutz.com because nobody's playing it anymore. They all went back to playing Minecraft. All the kids, that and Roblox. But if you are older and would like to play other games, Gameloft Classic 20 years, I think, is honestly a great alternative.
Speaking of Minecraft, my friend's kid wants to install a Minecraft server on his Windows desktop, and so his father, my friend, um, consulted me, I suppose, yesterday about him doing that and the security of the whole thing. So I haven't looked into too much about like actually hosting a Minecraft server. I set up a Raspberry Pi with one a while ago, but the security of a Minecraft server, door go.
Well, I'll say in the realm of security, there's almost nothing to worry about. If they're at all worried, I just say give them a pre-configured, pre-fashioned virtual machine VM uh, of a Minecraft server pre-installed. Um, the only security thing you got to worry about is their kids joining it being available to the greater public, and someone calling him, connecting and calling their son a delete expletive is the only actual security risk they have to worry about. Minecraft is old. Steve Gibson, one of the things that I firmly agree with him about is old code is more trusted than new code. Minecraft in the realm of gaming is kind of old code. Um, you don't have to worry about installing a Minecraft server and then having it overtake anything on your network and being exploited, is what I'll say. Even though it's technically owned by Microsoft, it's actually moderately safe to run.
That was pretty much the same thing I said was install VirtualBox, create a Linux virtual machine, throw it on there, and use it as a learning experience for this kid who I believe is 13 years old, and make him do research on networking and security in general and how to set up a virtual machine. So if anybody's listening and doesn't know what VirtualBox is or what virtual machines are, do some googling and have some fun.
Well, or just literally send us an email directly at aaa@podnutz.com and just say you need some help. And I
Oh,
have
for
no
sure.
problem in devoting a couple hours in the next couple of days to sitting someone down and actually showing them what it is and how to use it. It's not complicated.
It's not complicated. I mean, the whole concept is a bit complicated. I think it's more complicated to actually understand what it is than to set it up.
Well, it's like this. Do you need to understand how your microwave oven works to use it? I say no. You sometimes have to just have faith and hit 2 minutes, start, and not worry about the actual way something's working and just rely on the fact that it's not going to kill you and it's going to actually make in the end result better. Kind of like 5G has nothing to do with the coronavirus.
So now you're a conspiracy theorist.
I've been a conspiracy theorist for a long time. And I'll say it like this: if you worry about people trying to overtake your data or your friend's data or your kids' data, this is a application that I found in air quotes thanks to, again, the Nightwise Discord. Um, Miradore, I don't know how to pronounce it. Miradore. It was one of the very, very, very few device management applications I've found that has a completely free tier. And I've spoken now to two of the people within the company that swear they will always have that completely free tier available to everybody. Uh, and they have like three other tiers where if you want basic device management over your child's device, over your mother in law's device, over your father's device, over your brother's or sister's device, because you're the nerd that can help them fix their things when they go wrong, that this is an absolute thing you need to check out. Device management is a very tender subject, is the way that I'll put it. And Miradore, Midori, I'll say it like this: unbelievably nice people. And I installed it now on 3 devices. Unbelievably easy to use and to do simple device management for free. If you require more advanced features, you can pay as little as $2 a month. And then you start getting much more advanced features. If you require highly advanced features, I want to say it goes up to around $5 a month. And you can really take control of your friends and family's devices and be the administrator for them to where they don't have to worry about things.
Such as what, Dor? What can you do?
You can remotely install or uninstall applications. You can clear data settings. You can access stuff like their camera and say, now point your phone at like your router or your washing machine or your heat pump and show me what's wrong. Um, the level of administration you can get from these kind of mobile device management applications is almost insane, is the way that I'll put it.
You're way off too on the pricing.
Okay.
It's free, and then the business is $2, and enterprise it goes up to $3.
Right. Well, I do think the Enterprise Plus might be $5 US American dollars. But yes, I'm sorry, $2 per device or $3 per device. If you, and let me tell you something, the $3 per device, a lot of other platforms, that level of support is nearly $10 per device. And this is the kind of company where they said if you get in now, you will lock in your prices. So Miradore.com, I would definitely check them out.
I think you did a really good job of pronouncing their name too. I mean, I would say Miradora,
Well,
Miradore.
I talked to him like 3 times over chat, and I never once stopped and thought, "How do you pronounce this crap?" Because, ever since, like, 2002, it's become more and more difficult to pronounce websites and web services.
Since I'm a derelict and did no preparation for this, I'm going to poach another one off of your list because it has an interesting name, but I just looking at it, I don't fully understand what it's doing. But it's simplepush.io, the easiest way to send push notifications to your device. So could you go into depth on that one a little bit?
Well, what I'll say is simplepush.io is actually a front end to a much richer, deeper ecosystem is the way that I'll put it. And I'm speaking slowly because I need to make sure that I copy and paste multiple things before I start talking too quickly. Okay. Um, Simplepush. There's going to be 3 links in the notes back to back to back. One of them is going to be to the github.io. One of them will be to the Android application. Okay. So AKA, if you want to, you can build this yourself. You don't have to rely on other people's code. Okay. If you're really worried, AKA, if you work in the Department of Defense and you want this kind of functionality, you don't have to worry about outside sources. You can go to this simplepush.io, download it yourself, compile it yourself, and run it yourself on your own Android device. And then there's ntfy. ntfy is an example of how you can use things like Simplepush inside of your network. So you can say, using ntfy, I want to copy a file from X to Y. This is like a 20 terabyte file. I want to be notified when this file is done. You can then pipe it through an application like Simplepush. So then you can then start the copying process. You can go outside. You can mow your grass. You can go to the store. You can go and hunt buffalo if you want. And then the split second that this copy is done, you'll be notified on your mobile device using completely open source technologies that you as an end user can own yourself, or you can simply just download the Simplepush from the Android Play and utilize it yourself. You can use this with any task. You can then say, whenever my thermostat goes above 79 degrees, hypothetically, give me a push notification. Anytime it detects water near my hot water heater, send me a push notification. Anytime my child accesses a website with the word porn in it, send me a notification. Anytime my wife walks by a camera by my front door, send me a push notification. These are the kinds of things that Simplepush can help people in connecting those two ecosystems together. Um, Using devices like Raspberry Pis, using things like IP cameras, or using things like simple command line driven task, whether it be a Windows command file or batch file or PowerShell or anything in Linux using the command line interface, you can pipe it through Simplepush, and you can then say, give me a notification when this task is done on my mobile device using this application. I've used it a couple times, is what I'll say. I really am not a Linux nerd. I'm not a Linux maven. I'm not a Linux guru. I'm a noob in every sense of the world because I don't have the time to sit down and drill through any of this stuff. I got it working in less than 20 minutes, simply copying and pasting commands from these websites. And I was able to say, when there was motion sensitivity by this IP camera, to send me a notification via Simplepush. And I was able to get it to work even when I was outside of my network.
I'm
I was shocked at how easy it was.
I'm remembering the first few episodes of Linux for the Rest of Us, and I'm pretty sure that Steve called you a Linux maven.
He did,
So
but
just
it's
throwing
in
that out there,
perspective.
Door.
It's kind of like, I think that your beard is glorious, but I hope you realize you wouldn't win a single beard competition because there are other people out there with more glorious beards than you. But compared to my,
That hurts, Door.
but I know, but compared to my bare face looking like a preteen chin, you are magnificent, sir. You
There's more
are,
of it.
I know, you're the beard maven, you know? Perspective is reality.
Would this be something that you could use with an Arduino? Do you
I
reckon,
don't
or like an ESP device, something like that?
I don't see why you couldn't use it with any level of IoT infrastructure, whether it be like the ESP single chip on a board kind of thing, or complete, you know, 20,000 Windows Server infrastructure. It could all take advantage of this application.
That's interesting. So in your non-Maven opinion, would this be something, say you were creating a project and with I don't know, a motion sensor or an Arduino with a motion sensor, and you wanted to get a notification, do you think that this would be the best the best way to do it?
I think it would
Or
be
this
a simple way to do it to where you won't have to recreate the wheel. One of the things I firmly believe in computing is don't reinvent the wheel because you'll never do it as good as somebody else who's done it before you, who spent 20 years doing it. If you just need simple push notifications on your mobile device, this is an absolute no, like, no work involved. Set it up and you'll get yourself push notifications from scheduled task or IoT sensors or MQTT type infrastructure. And if you're listening to an Android, aka a like podcast, and they don't know what MQTT is, I encourage you to unsubscribe because also that podcast will probably shove ads down your throat for technologies they don't even understand.
And I would say that whenever Door says to stop listening, I would translate that to Google it or Bing
I
it or
well,
DuckDuckGo it.
and I have no problem saying that. I have no problem in saying I am basically the only podcast out there I've ever listened to that has the audacity, that has the gall, that has the confidence to tell you to stop listening because sometimes people should just stop listening and just keep watching episodes of like The Bachelor or some other crime drama on TV that's not realistic. But, but, I have just the kind of application that might tickle you there, Josh. It comes with a caveat. It might be completely useless, or it could be completely all inspiringly insightful. It depends on what you peruse on the site known as the Reddit. Okay. It's called Remove for Reddit. And essentially, we've okay, let me stop. I almost had a cognitive bias moment there. Some of us out there have perused Reddit and then have came across Reddit threads where all of a sudden you see comment deleted, comment deleted, comment deleted, comment deleted, comment deleted. And it goes on for like 40 or 50 times. And you say to yourself, my goodness, what could have these people said that was so offensive or so accurate that people wanted to hide? How could I ever know what could have been said? Well, remove for Reddit by Zanaman. Ooh, HUMZAMAN under the social category E for everyone. No in app ads, no in app purchases. Completely free, 95 downloads, 4.9 average reviews, um, minor bug fixes, comment log. I love you all. Updated April 2nd, 2020, size 1.1 meg in size. Sweet. 1,000 plus installs. Current version 1.5.2 requires 5.1 Android and up. Content rating E for everyone. Permission details, full network access. That's the sign of somebody that knows what they're doing and they're not trying to sell your data. Okay. Long story short, you literally go to your Reddit application of choice. You see a comment that says it was removed by the author or just removed, you then highlight that comment. You then say share that comment. You then say share it with its application removed. This application can go back in time and tell you what that comment actually said. I'll just say it like this. I found this application literally enlightening. It was fun. It was dang near fun. A good 80% of what I revealed was useless, but there was one out of every like 10 or 20 things that I revealed that was very eye opening. And I understood why the original author deleted the comment. But as a third party participant, it was very enlightening for me to see what these other people had to say.
I wish they could do this for every website, every app. To circle back around to last time we spoke, I had mentioned that I purchased an application called Doodle, which is only for Windows and Mac, which is extremely unfortunate. Um, but I've used it. I created a small video whiteboard video for Internet in a Box, and the app is not good. Like it's slow. It actually, you can't locally save your project. It is a web based. It's an application on the computer, but it's the saving is web based somewhere. Don't even know. And it's slow and it's kind of buggy. And I was doing some. I was just looking for some reviews or some alternatives today, and I saw one that had a bunch of reviews, and they were all just rainbows and unicorns. And I said, okay, where did you parse this from? Because I can guarantee you that these are not accurate. And I saw another one that was all 1 star and 2 stars. Just, this is crap. So to have something where you could actually like parse where or see where these reviews came from and see all the rest of the reviews would be great.
Well, and I'll say, depending on the Reddit post, will directly depend on what you're looking up. If you're only looking up Kim Kardashian images, expect what you find to be useless and stupid. If you're looking up 5G causing coronavirus, expect the comments being deleted are completely useless and stupid. So be very particular about what you research when you're looking at the individual comments. This again harkens back to navigating digital information from SciShow. And if you haven't watched it and you send me an email ever in your life or my life and you haven't watched it, I'm pretty sure I'm going to ignore everything you say. Because nothing on the internet is completely black or white. There's stuff on Reddit that is gold. There is stuff on Reddit that if you pay any attention to it, I really don't want to know. So, good luck using this application. Good luck with doing your own individual research. If you find something super interesting, don't hesitate to share it with me and just tell me it's interesting. Not saying it's true, not saying it's false, but just the fact that it's interesting. And I have another link I honestly had to share here, Josh, only because if I don't, I'm going to lose it and then I won't be able to find it again. Years and years and years and years ago, I shared a service called Lucy Phone, and it was harkening back to the old I Love Lucy show where she took the physical wires and she was the telephone operator. Well, I hate to say it, but as far as I can tell, that service is dead. DED, dead. Gone. Okay. This is the next Bex thing I could find. Is called GetHuman, all one word, GetHuman by GetHuman Inc. productivity tool, 641 reviews. E for Everyone does have an in-app purchase. No ads, completely free to download. 3.0 average reviews, updated November 7th, 2017. Updated November 17th, 2017. And I'm going to quote John Mad Dog Hall. And if you don't know who John Mad Dog Hall is, hit pause, Google search John Mad Dog Hall, period. Okay. Sometimes applications don't need to be updated. Okay. Okay, coming back, size 22 megs, 10,000 plus installs, current version 6.0.4, requires 4.1 Android and up, content rating E for Everyone, in-app purchases 99 cents to 29.99. I'm still not sure what the in-app purchases do. Permissions level, basically receive data from the internet, full network access, control vibrations, very, very basic access. This application helps you not have to sit on hold for 20 minutes or for 3 hours when you need to contact a huge conglomerate or a bill collector sending you nasty emails or nasty mails saying that they're going to confiscate anything you own. Kind of like I've had 3 of them now in the last couple of weeks, where they try to tell me because of my son's affliction, the doctor's office all of a sudden is coming up with things from 3 years ago saying that we owe them money for. I use GetHuman. I put in their phone number. I hit enter. And then basically, when they're ready to talk to me, my phone rings. I pick it up. I say hello. And I'm talking to that person right away. I don't have to sit on hold for any length of time. GetHuman is gold. It just works, is what I'll say. If you hate being on hold, GetHuman, I think, is a great tool. And if I could give them money, if I ever saw the in-app purchase pop up to me, I'm pretty sure I'd give them some money because they saved me time. And in the first world, time is money.
There's a lot of terrible reviews on this. When's the last time you used it?
I used it 3 times in the last 2 weeks.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
it worked
there's
completely as advertised for me.
crazy. There's 2 1 1 1 1 1 2 1. All the recent reviews are all garbage, even by Wilbo Baggins.
That's a good name. Well, I don't know what I did right. I don't know what they did wrong, but I will say this. If you have to call up an ISP, if you have to call up a provider that you really don't want to sit there on hold for 20 plus minutes, try this. Quite literally, here's the worst that's going to happen. You load the app, you type the number, you wait 2 hours, nothing happens. That's the worst that could happen. Okay. Then you literally just on your phone call the number and wait on hold for 20 or 30 minutes. So you might be out 2 or 3 minutes of your time if this doesn't work.
Sweet.
Yeah. I hate being on hold almost as much as I hate advertisements.
About when they're trying to sell you advertisements while you're on hold.
Then I hang up and I call back and I threaten to drive a car through the front of their building, which I've done.
Driven a car through a building?
I threatened to last week to a company because I told them, look, you put me on hold, then you wouldn't stop telling me how much you cared about me as a customer, which obviously you don't.
Yep. We value
Yeah.
your information and
Liars.
nonsense.
Almost like politicians. This though isn't a lie. This is called Almighty Almighty Volume Keys Powerful Remapper. That is a mouthful. It doesn't need to be that complicated, okay? Almighty Volume Keys Powerful Remapper by Martin Sellergan. Tools, 235 reviews. E for Everyone does have in-app purchases. completely free to download, no in-app ads, 4.4 average reviews, updated April 28th, 2020, 2.2 megs in size, 10,000 plus installs, current version 1.6, 6.0 Android and up, content rating E for everyone, $2.49 per in-app purchase. Permission, it needs a lot of access. Microphone, storage, camera, photo, pair with Bluetooth, modify system settings. Here's the reason why. This is a very ingenious, and I have no problem saying that. This is a very ingenious mapping application where you can say if there's no audio being played whatsoever, when I hit my volume up key, I would like to map it to being this action or this reaction. Or this volume up and then very quickly volume down, I would like to map to this action or reaction. This is almost like Tasker, but only with the volume keys to where you can say when there's no volume being played from media, from notifications, from alert, from music, from anything else, from ringer, when I hit these combination of volume keys, perform this action. Or you could say when I'm hearing my audio. Hypothetically, I never want to change my audio. Hypothetically, when I play my music, when I play my podcast, it's always at perfect audio. But I want to say when I hit volume up, skip a track. When I hit volume down, I want to say go back a track. Those kind of options. This is the kind of application that can really enable that kind of functionality with very little effort, and you don't need root. Again, almighty volume keys, powerful remapper is what it's called.
It's unfortunate this is not compatible with my device store.
It was only compatible with like about a third to a half of my devices, which I was kind of shocked with. But yes,
Oh, that's unfortunate. I like the idea of this. You brought up Tasker. Do you use Tasker for anything?
I haven't used Tasker for 6+ years only because I never want to sit down and learn the Tasker coding lingo. I don't have time for that. It is my excuse.
Yeah, I've had it. I purchased it 150 years ago,
Mhm.
and I don't think I've ever done anything. And I've opened it several times, and just yeah, I haven't put the effort
Well, and
forward.
I have no problem giving them money because I think they're doing a great thing. But I also believe there are great causes out there doing great things, but I'm not going to sit there and listen to their speakers plow on for 3 hours about things because I gave them money already. I don't need to listen to them. I agree with what Tasker's doing. I agree with why they're doing and how they're doing. I'm still not going to use their application because there's nothing they can offer me that I can't do without Tasker.
You just brought up an irritant of mine, and that is paying for a product or a service and still receiving ads.
Yeah.
Uh, Amazon Prime is an example of that. Amazon Prime Video in particular, where at the beginning of every show you want to watch, they're pimping other shows that they have. I
Yep.
don't need this. I'm paying you to not watch this crap.
And that's why I won't pay Amazon any money that I don't have to. I go out of my way to not order anything from Amazon ever again because if anybody takes the time to just, again, navigating digital information, you do your Amazon search, you find the item you want, and then you come back a layer and you go to your search engine of choice and you search for that same item, you'll find 99% of the time, Amazon is not the cheapest source, nor is it the fastest source to get things to you. It's just the most convenient thing. Do you know what else was convenient for a lot of people back in the day, Josh?
No,
Back
go ahead.
in back in like the 1940s, Nazism was pretty convenient for people in Germany. Doesn't mean it was right.
How'd that work out?
it didn't work out very well. So if you just use Amazon because it's convenient, then you really owe it to yourself to look elsewhere because you're giving them more than money. You're giving
The-
them market share and eyeballs.
and that is, I'm not disagreeing with you necessarily, but that's also kind of a US centric view, I think.
Yes.
Because even here in Scandinavia, it's a lot more difficult to get anything that you want to order online or at a local store for that matter.
Well, I mean, I'm a weird fellow, WEIRD. I'm a Western, educated, industrialized, rich, democratic fella, and I can only give you the viewpoint from me. And as far as I can tell, people all around me are infatuated with going to Amazon and they can't go anywhere else, which is why I beg people go someplace else. Just look someplace else. I'm not saying you have to go other places, but just evaluate once in a while. And
And if you're listening to this show, then there's a good chance that you like gadgets and tech. And if you want to go down a wormhole, go to GearBest or
mhm.
banggood.com and then check out that funness.
Yeah, and like the Amazon video to me is one of the worst video offerings I've ever seen in my life. I mean, for 3 years I had Amazon Prime and it wouldn't let me watch Star Trek The Next Generation for free. They insisted I had to pay for something that was 20 years old and was niche. So, as first chance I had, I dropped all Amazon Prime support and now I might order from Amazon 2 times a year, maybe 3 times a year. It's only because I have no choice. Um, but nothing is perfect. We all have to make our choices. Here's another choice I made, Josh. This was, I believe, a paid game. And now that I say that out loud, I cannot remember. This is called
Yeah, it's
57 North.
$3.99 here.
Yeah. In the US right now, it's $2.99. I do believe it was maybe free or maybe less than $1. I definitely encourage people put this on your wish list on your bookmarks. Okay, 57 Degrees North, Mighty Coconut Adventure, Action at Adventure, 258 reviews, E for everyone, family friendly, family friendly. Um, it is 3.8 average reviews, family library eligible. Updated February 6, 2019, 27 megs in size, 10,000 plus installs. Current version 1.4.0 requires 6.0 Android nut. Content rating E for everyone. Permissions, it basically needs microphone, storage, camera, photos, network access, the whole like gamut kind of thing. The best way I can describe this is it's a game, but it really isn't a game. What this is a dramatic interactive story. This is retelling an experience, a um, not real experience. This is a dramatic retelling story of what could happen between a couple people and basically the insane Arctic, Alaskan ocean. And I don't know if you can know about the waterways up by Alaska, but they are extremely deadly. Hence, we have these horrible shows on America called Deadliest Catch. Um, because these waterways are quite literally deadly. This is a like choose your own adventure with really good visuals, really good voiceovers. And it's the kind of thing where you might be able to download it once and in less than 2 hours go through it, but if you quote unquote play it again, you can see completely different interactions and completely different endings. This is available in VR mode, but it's also available in just normal Android view mode. I played this for easy 45 minutes and I was kind of enthralled with it. I showed it to my kid. He then immediately bought it on his I can't even remember the name of his VR headset, but it's the cheapest one possible, is what I'll say. And he absolutely loved it, even though he said he's never going to load it again. He immediately told two of his friends and said this was a great VR experience.
In the video at the beginning, it shows some sort of cube.
Yeah, he had
Um,
that.
okay, so that's the VR part, is that it's a virtual cube that you turn. This looks, from the video, it looks like a choose your own adventure Truman Show um, type of scenario.
Yeah, I'll definitely go by that. It's a interactive choose your own adventure thing. 57 degrees north, I'm going to guess, is right there by Alaska and some horrendous waterway of turbulence is what I'm going to say. Um, I can't say it enough. If you really do like to be completely enthralled with a story and you don't mind spending a couple dollars, this to me was a great thing. And again, if you're part of the family plan or you have a YouTube family or a Google Play family, you buy this once and it will be immediately available to everybody in your family.
Yeah, this looks like the 57th parallel north is, I can't really get a good map at this point, but it's cutting off Southeast Alaska. It's sort of the Aleutian Islands. It looks like the North Aleutian Islands is where it goes. So there's your geography lesson for the night.
Very cool. And I'll say, Thiz is in the chat, one of the many people in the chat here tonight. Thiz did let me know that it was completely free on Android for some time. So that's when I got it. And if you would like to know when these kinds of things do become free, again, we said it a couple times. Instead of regurgitating these VPN companies that are paying us money, swearing that we're picking them because they're so great, instead, we're telling you about things like the Discord chat in the notes, where you have guys like Thiz who constantly find free applications on Android, on Steam, or other platforms, and they put them in the notes. That's how I found this game. It was from that Discord chat.
And Door, how much are we charging for the Discord chat?
Infinite money. If you can't afford infinite money, then don't click on the notes and don't go to the Discord link, which unfortunately right now is temporarily completely free until I fix it to where I can charge infinite money.
All
I'm
right,
working
Door.
on it.
Yeah. Well, let me know because I'd like a piece of that.
Yeah, kind of like I'm working on my gut too. I'm working on it. Stop looking at it.
Yeah, but you're actually doing a good job at that.
I don't know. I've put on more than a couple pounds here lately.
Yeah, well, that's what you were talking about working on your gut, getting rid of it. Oh, I see.
Yeah. Here's another link I want to put out there. Me and Josh have pushed Jitsi Meat. Um, we are both mildly disgusted at the absolute incompetent people promoting things like Zoom or Skype or any other of these closed solutions. This is a one that I found that seems to me that it seems to be just as floss loving, free Libra open source, just as free, just as privacy focused as other things that me and Josh have found out there. It's called jami.net. I will say I did download it and I did install it on at least 2 devices. I'm not going to say it's better or worse than any other solution. I will say it ran surprisingly good. It ran pretty smooth. It is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, iOS, Android, and even Android TV specific applications to where you can have screen sharing, audio calls, video calls, conferencing, or literally just text messaging back and forth. Um, I will say one of the things that I truly believe right now, April 30th, 2020, the one of the best things to show a crap ton of advancement during this whole pandemic, this whole lockdown, this whole shutdown, this whole sheltering this place, this whole working from home, this whole thing is open source is making a lot of headway. And this is the kind of application that I didn't even know existed 30 days ago. I download it and install it, and it is working shockingly good. I truly believe 2020 will be the year of open source, but I don't think we're going to know it until like 2025.
Um, so what is it? He might
It's
have said, I'm sorry, I was trying to look at it and
it is basically just a platform you can use to where you can send somebody a link, desktop in Windows, Mac, or Linux, mobile, iOS or Android, or even an Android set top TV kind of ecosystem to where you can literally just have voice calls back and forth, video calls back and forth, screen sharing on any of those devices back and forth, conferencing with more than just two people. Um, I believe they have a limit of 100, which, let's be realistic, that should meet anyone's need. Or you could literally just have text messaging back and forth from device to device in a very, I'll just say, put it like this, decentralized, privacy focused ecosystem.
so what are they using? Do you know what they're using as far as
They're using what everyone else is using, which is just WebRTC
well, yeah.
and I believe XMPP for the ASCII characters. The texts go back and forth. Their interface, I'll say it like this, it is dang polished. I don't know if it's polished enough for the, dare I say, real estate agent, dare I say, trucker, dare I say, teacher, dare I say, executive, dare I say, trash man, dare I say, child. I don't know if all of them can use it as easy as I could use it, but I'll say it like this. It was very easy, I believe, to use. JAMI.net. Shockingly good is what I'll say. And I love the fact that we have so many choices now. I don't know which one's the right one.
So how would you compare it to Jitsi?
I'll say on desktop, it's equal to Jitsi. On mobile, it might be a little bit easier to use, a little bit quicker to use kind of thing. Maybe on a Windows desktop or a Mac desktop, it might be harder or easier to use. I don't know because I don't have either one of those desktops. But on Linux in Chrome and Firefox and Vivaldi and Brave and like three other browsers that I have installed, it seemed to work without any issue.
And did you install it on a server at your house or
No, because every time I try to install anything here locally on a server for the last like 3 months, nothing seems to work for me.
and the real question is, do you know if it's ARM compatible?
As a client, everything worked on ARM. The browser and the mobile worked perfectly. The server, I was very unclear if it was ARM compatible or not.
One thing that is I've been delving into quite a bit lately is Ubuntu 20 for Raspberry Pi. And so I'm thinking that that might open up the door for more um, innovation on ARM because they actually offer a 64-bit operating system as well, which is great, which is something that Raspberry Pi needs. And going forward, hopefully, all of these things will be able to be ported to ARM architecture, including the Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, I will say they're one of the people literally pushing the limits and drawing attention to such platforms. I can't wait for people like VMware to finally devote public media towards such a thing because then it will only get even better. I will say jami.net. If you're at all interested, go ahead and it's very free, very easy to check out. They openly say that this is unlimited without restrictions on the size of files that you share, the speed that is allocated to you, the bandwidth you have, the features that are available to you, the number of accounts, the storage, or anything else. And that's one of the things that I happily say every other closed platform restricts. Whether it's Zoom, whether it's Skype, whether it's Google Meet, whether it's Teams, they all have artificial limits in place, kind of like the artificial limits on how much women get paid. I went there because it's completely artificial, kind of like Skype and Zoom. And yet, the same people who argue for equality use those kinds of tools, which me in the open source world call disgusting hypocrites.
Well, I think that they're using those type of tools makes them tools, but it's also like the restrictions on the distance you can travel on a single charge in a Tesla.
Yes, yes. And my wife, I tell you right now, the wife went off on me when I first tried to suggest an electronic vehicle because she knew of the artificial limits on Teslas and how, hypothetically, if an emergency happened, they could raise our limits without us doing anything. And she said, well, why wouldn't they just be raised by default? To which I said, well, because he's a scummy South African, Ellen is his real name, businessman. He's not for the people, he's for profit. And now I love the fact that people are starting to scream at the top of their lungs because, oh, won't you think about our our blessed telescopes now? He's going to ruin our view at the night sky with all these satellites he's going to put up there. Look, attack him for whatever you want. Welcome to my world. You're about 3 years too late.
That brings up a interesting part of my life that's happened in the last few days. It was 2 nights ago, I believe. I went outside right before going to bed to take a pee on a tree, and I looked up and there was a line across the sky, and it looked like a a contrail a bit, but it was all the way across. It went from north to south, all the way across the sky, and it stayed there, and it stayed there, and it moved gradually across the sky, and it was just there, and I tried to figure out what it was, and I've had no answers, and I checked with other people, and they saw it as well, and I've never seen anything like that.
Was it like less than 2 hours after, was it possibly less than 2 to 2.5 hours after dusk?
Probably, yes.
Okay, because here's the whole dirty secret. Okay, if you're at ground level and the sun sets, if you're in a 100-story building, you can still clearly see the sun. Okay, so if you go up even higher, that then is still experiencing the sun, even though you think it's clearly night. And the Starlink satellites that have been put up have been putting lines across the night sky, but only when it can still see the sun and you can't. So realistically, the whole Skylink, and to be honest, Jeff Bezos is doing some similar things, but nobody's talking about that. Where for anywhere from an hour and a half to 2.5 hours after dusk, you will see extra artifacts in the night sky, is the way that they put it. And a lot of people have said it's been like a line going across the sky where if you had a telescope and you looked, you would see it's not a line. Instead, it's hundreds, aka nearly thousands of satellites all in a row in a line. And you can thank that to Elon Musk.
That's what I had thought as well, and I that was one of the things that I had, I don't know. One of the things that went through my mind is the possibility of what it could be, but it wasn't.
Aliens. Oh, sorry.
No, I mean, sure, why not, right? But the with that, is it I know what a satellite looks like,
Mhm.
and so this is a satellite is a sharp, it looks like a non-blinking star.
Right.
This was like a contrail, like it was a kind of a smoky wider band that as the night progressed, it moved from uh, west to east across the sky, and it was
Well,
full. It was all the way from north, as far as you could see from north to south.
well, two reports I heard said that the people who saw the Starlink satellites did go from the complete skyline from one edge to the other. They said it was a line. They didn't say it was like any way hazy, but it was literally a line across the sky, literally like a pen drawn from one side to the other.
You know what? With that, I don't think I'm okay with that. I think that I've never really thought about this, but to me, the sky belongs to. It sounds like that sounds dumb, but the sky belongs to everyone, and I don't think you should be able to drop pictures in it. I don't.
Well,
That's a bit too much.
I agree it's jarring. The good thing, I'll say this, we always listen. If the number one most requested thing at British funerals is Monty Python, The Bright Side of Life, because everybody needs to once in a while just stop and look at the bright side. Okay. The bright side of life is ground based satellites looking into space are becoming the minority sooner or later. We have things like Hubble, we have things like Kepler, we have a couple other ones up there, I can't remember their name, that can look out into the stars with such clarity that no ground based satellite could ever see. Okay. So even the Starlink stuff, even if they put up 10 billion satellites, it will have no effect on those kinds of infrastructure. It will have an effect on our land based radio telescopes. Is it the end of the world? Nope, not at all. Because there's only a window of opportunity that it can hurt our satellites, but the window exists. Um, I don't know what's better. And this is when you got to weigh what's better, what's worse. Is allowing everybody in the world to have more ubiquitous internet communications more important? Or is it more important for someone to see Saturn or distant galaxies or the sun's corona or something? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'll say this. I'm not going to blindly side with Elon Musk saying what he's doing is right. And I'm not going to side with the people sitting at ground based telescopes saying they're right. I will say, kind of like the African American in the movie Canadian Bacon, all I said was their beer sucks. Can't we all just get along? Um, there has to be a happy medium, I believe. I don't know where it is or how it can happen, but I think there is an ability to make both sides happy.
I think it would be easier to swallow if it were different people who are doing this.
I agree. I agree. Like the Russians. Oh wait, no. Um, one more link I have to share before we end the show off. I believe it's called Skit, Skit. And I've really honestly tried to remember this application for 3 months, and I keep forgetting to bring it to the show. That's why I had to just shove it in here now. Stick it in. I had to just stick it in now. Okay, Skit by Pavel Reckon, Pavelrekun. Tools application, E for everyone, 703 reviews, 4.1 average reviews, updated March 12th, 2020, size 4.3 megs, installs 100,000 plus installs. Current version 1.6 requires 5.0 Android and up, which is pretty dang old. Content rating, E for everyone. Permissions level, oh, it's going to need storage. It's going to need photo. It's going to need complete network access, full network access, prevent device from sleeping, and I'll say a little bit more. Um, yes, this comes from the Ukraine, so if you're paranoid about countries, just stop listening to this podcast. This to me is an utterly interesting application that can look at individual APK files, things that are installed on your phone that can tell you in remarkable clarity what this app is, where this app come from, what this app is accessing, what this app's network is doing, um, is it doing it, how is it doing it, extract the APK file and share it off if it's not restricted by extreme DRM is the way I will put it. And give you pretty good graphs displaying data usage and what apps are doing in the background. With the premium service, I do believe there's a premium service involved where it will give you even more detail. I didn't pay that. I didn't feel like I needed to. I got a really good amount of information out of the free service. If you don't mind being disturbed seeing what applications are doing on your device, I cannot encourage you enough. Skit by PAVELREKUN. And if you listen to any Android podcast in the last 3 years or 3 years in the future, this is the exact kind of application you will never hear them mention because they're all journalists who only go for the complete clickbaity headline kind of thing, like Facebook gaming or Stadia gaming kind of thing. And they'll never actually show you, the user, how to find out what's going on your device. Period.
Period.
And
Full
this
stop.
might not be compatible with all your devices. It was only compatible with like a third of mine.
That's compatible with mine, so that's all that really matters. So to do a roundup of what we discussed tonight, in no particular order, we talked about Snapdrop, the easiest way to transfer files across devices. Passman, early access by Passman, productivity. Snapdrop in GitHub by Robin Linus, which I just wanted to say. Vivaldi browser for Android. Nova Legacy by Gameloft SE. Miradore. Miradore. You're better at saying that one than I am, Dor.
Miradore, I believe.
Simplepush. ntfy. Sender. Man, I didn't do a very good job at this, Dor.
Could be worse.
So swinging from the hip here. Removed for Reddit. Zaman social app. GetHuman by GetHuman Inc. Productivity. Almighty Volume Keys, Powerful Remapper by Martin Seligren under Tools. 57 Degrees North by Mighty Coconut. I like that one a lot. Mighty Coconut. Jami. Skit by Pavel Rekin. Jedentageinset, a free app for electric music. What else do we use? PlaySearch.khaki87.net. I think that I might have missed something, Dor.
Jedentageinset
Jedentageinset
is the best way I can pronounce it. And I'll say the one thing that we both missed is I cannot say thank you enough to Paul, last name I can't pronounce, our newest Patreon supporter on Patreon. I cannot thank everybody enough. We do not shove ads down your throat, nor do we try to make people feel guilty if they don't offer us Patreon supportage. If you send us an email, we're equally thankful. If you send us a tweet, we're equally thankful. If you join us on Discord, we're equally thankful. If you join us on IRC, we're equally thankful. if you send us a voicemail at 7076 Podnut. We're equally thankful. If you send Josh an email to his email address that provided, you got it in the notes, we're equally thankful. We don't feel like anybody has to pay for anything. We also feel like we, as a producer, don't have to shove ads down your throat and sell you like slaves to advertisers for income. We have X number of people give us this amount of money. We don't do that kind of thing. We don't ever want to do that kind of thing. And if you respect that, there's a lot of different ways you can show us that kind of respect and support. And I just said every way.
I would say that we almost appreciate it more to get an email or a tweet or just communication from any which way. You know, financial is great, but it's hard times, and if you can't afford to give to Patreon, take some time out, write an email. I mean, I smile every time I see an email.
Yeah, and I had to stop almost a third of my patrons in the last month only because I could not keep them up. And it's not because I'm not working. I am working. I'm working 40 hours a week. My wife is working 40 hours a week. I've given over $3,000 of my money, my and my wife's money in the last 30 days to people who I know need it more than me because the federal government felt it necessary to ship me more than $3,000 of money. Um, Me and my wife knew we didn't need it. We knew other people did. So I said to her, let's give it to her coworkers. Let's give it to people I know. Let's give it to people who I communicated with because they need it more than me. And then I found out I need to stop some of my Patreons for a couple months, but they'll be all right because they're getting other Patreons. And that's the beautiful thing about Patreon. You can stop and go anytime you want. And in the Podnutz realm, there is no content that will ever be behind a paywall, period, bar none. Hear me now. I dare you to call me on it later. Nothing on Podnutz will ever be behind a paywall, period. And if you want to communicate with me about why we should or shouldn't do such a thing, AAA at podnuts.com, voicemail 7076 at podnuts.com. Do you have any other parting words there, Josh?
No, it's good to be back in the saddle. We apologize for nothing, and hopefully we'll be back again next week. And Ivor, if you're listening, then send an email. If you're not listening, why are you not listening, man?
And his brother didn't come out tonight either, so I feel besmirched.
And on that note, thank you everyone that did come out in the chat. CJ, Red, Thiz, everyone else. It's always fun. 6 o'clock on Thursdays is when we try to go live. 6 o'clock, the real time in the world, which is Pacific time in Canada. So I don't know what's going on in the East Coast there for time, but just remember 6 o'clock West Coast Canada time.
Very cool. And I'll say, if you would like to participate, just let me know. We will definitely let you know how to do so. If you want to watch The Castle, the movie, in real time with us, let us know. We'll set up a movie watching experience because I've literally watched that movie, I want to say 8 times this year already. And every time I watch it, I like see something new in it, which just makes me like the movie even more. Um, and that will do it for Android App Addicts Podcast, podnuts.com. And I'll like to talk to everyone again real soon. Thank everyone for their support. Thank everyone for downloading. Thank everyone for participating. And we'll see everyone again real soon. Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy.
Transfer back, file,
Uh,
save project as 564,
or yeah.
5 5 64. Yeah. Oh, taking time. Holy crap, that went too long, Josh. Gotta cut me off, man.
Oh no, I actually had something I wanted to bring up too, but I decided to save it.
Okay. Well, then not surprising. I gotta go to the bathroom again.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. So to intro or not to intro there, Josh? Huh.
I gotta tell you something, Dora. That beer was fantastic.
What was that called again?
Oh, it's yeah, I'll show you.
It was like a make believe Russian because I don't think it was really Russian.
Oh, it's it.
Yeah. Oak aged hammer.
It's the Hammer Oak Aged Imperial Stout.
Imperial Stout. Man,
Yeah, that's pretty much my favorite.
I've not had a good Imperial Stout for, oh man,
Too
10
long.
months, maybe 14 months.
Yeah, like I said, this one is also. I don't know if I've ever showed you my beer collection, but it's been sitting for probably three years.
Gotcha. So how is the Mrs. and the boy?
Good.
Good. How is her job? Is it stressing her out completely?
No, she's infallible.
Because I'll tell you something, job's killing my wife.
Yeah.
Well, stupid people are all around. I feel like the kid from Sixth Sense. I
I,
see dead people.
I do see dead people. I
Where
almost brought that.
where it's like 90% of the people I work with, I consider to be uncomparably stupid. And when my wife talks about her coworkers, they don't seem much better.
Yeah. Well, I think that's universal. It's hard being the smartest people in the world.
Well, and I gotta believe that's another cognitive bias. It's not real, it's just real to us. Where I know that there's more than a couple people I work with that I don't think are smart, but dang it, they actually do stuff and they get stuff done. I don't consider it to be complicated because I don't know it passionately, is what I'll say. But thank
My
you very much,
audio.
Diz. Hmm?
Oh yeah, yeah. This. I don't know if you drink beer, but I'd like to drink a beer with you someday.
Mhm.
Um. Yeah, my audio
Oh,
kind of crapped out again. Like at the end, it was. Well, I'll have to look, but
it seemed
like
fine here.
it looked like it went down.
Um, I want to say it was Germany. It might be Germany and the UK. They're looking at now allowing people to allocate 10 people and say, these are 10 people I'm okay with hanging with. So if you see me and I'm in a crowd of 10 people and those 10 people all have me in their list and I have them in my list, it's okay, kind of thing. And I thought to myself, well, who the hell would be in my list of 10 people? And I'm thinking Fizz would be in the top 6, 7, just because of the damn links he keeps putting in the notes. Red would be in the top 4, 3 or 4, just because he's red. You know,
Hope
uh,
I made the list somewhere, Door.
you would be in the top
Uh,
5 or 6 is what I'll say. Ivor again is in the top 5 or 6. Um,
You got
Liam is
10
in
people in your top 5.
no. Liam is in like the top 1 or 2 because he's Liam. Yeah, a guy I used to work with, Mike Taylor. He's in like the top 2 or 3 as well. Um, relatives aren't in the top 50. Yeah. Most of the people I interact with aren't in the top 50. That's what I'll say. Martin Obando and Cody Cooper's in the top 4. I got no problem saying that because they're awesome. But I never hang with them, so they're there in spirit only.
Linux Fest.
Mm-hmm. No, and I told the wife again, if tomorrow I became a billionaire, the first thing I would do is buy like an entire zip code in some area, some county in some area. I would buy literally like a county's worth of land and just build houses and tell people like you, Josh, you can move here. But you got to do some amount of work. I don't care what it is. You got to have some kind of income. You have to pay X percentage of taxes on your property every year. I'll pay the rest. But you also have to benefit to the greater good, whether it be just offer assistance and help, whether it be gardening, siding, or whatever. And then you can partake in this ecosystem. With the only rule is when you die, the property gets relinquished back to us. You can't decide where the property goes because the likelihood your offspring is as cool as you is slim to none.
I don't know, man.
My offspring won't be as conscious is the word I'll use as me because their life has been spoiled rotten easy. I love my kids, but they won't understand anything I talk about. at all.
Oh,
Hmm.
Solomon will be much cooler than I am.
Mm.
That's a given.
Well,
He already is.
here's the thing: generation to generation is never the same. It either dramatically goes one way or the other. And you, as a parent, have no choice in which way it goes, but it always goes one way or the other. And you know, as a parent, which way it's going. You might not be willing to admit it on some circumstances, but it always goes one way or the other. Kind of like Donald Trump's father was far richer than Donald Trump is. And I'm pretty sure he knew before Donald Trump was 10 or 11 years old, this kid is not going to be as rich as me. And he's not. He's like 80% poorer than his father was because his father was really successful as a businessman. Rich people tend to not have kids who are stinking rich. Which is why, like, I'm okay with Bill Gates being stinking rich because his kids will just piss it all away, kind of thing.
Well, there's a good chance he'll be sued out of existence before he's gone
Well,
anyway.
even if he isn't, his kids will just piss all the money away, and then his kids will piss even more of it away, and then his kids will piss it all even more away. Because, like, oh God, Carnegie Mellon. You've heard of that name before, right?
Yep.
John Carnegie. He was one of the rail barons who was one of the most richest people in the world. You've never once heard of any of his kids because they were as poor. They were like 10 times poorer than he was.
Yeah, I've had that thought for a long time about being able to be so rich that you just I've thought about it as an island though, being able to just buy
Yeah,
an island and just bring everyone throughout all of the chapters of my life together, even if it's only for a weekend. You know, just
well,
there's so many people in different aspects of my life that have never met each other.
right, and that's the thing. You got to enjoy what you got. Like my father, without sounding dumb, I've not like busted my butt a majority of my life. I am far richer than my father, even though he busted his butt. He worked 60 to 80 hours for at least 30 years of his life. And don't get me wrong, he's living comfortably, but he most certainly is not rich. And my Chrome window just went, oh, snap.
Yeah, I had during the podcast at some point I had a phone call from a really good friend of mine who would definitely be on the island of
Hmm.
Reprise um in Hawaii, Dane.
Uh, yeah, my
And
one buddy calls that the kidney team. Like, who's on your list if they needed a kidney and you would supply them?
yeah,
Yeah,
Dane's on there.
right. There's only there can only be two or three people on that list because you only have so many kidneys.
And the fun part, I mean, I haven't even talked to him in probably 6 months and it doesn't even matter. Like it's yeah, he's there.
North Carolina is not that far away. I will say
For
that.
you.
Yeah. Who else am I going to speak for? Yeah. And here's the thing: I don't know anybody between. No, no, I'm not going to lie. The number of people between here and even South Carolina that I would care to spend an evening with is one, two people. One of them is Chad Wallenberg, who I consider to be one of the most sweetest, nicest guys I know. The second is Dan Washko, who I consider to be one of the smartest guys, yet most, I don't want to say inept. I don't want to say shallow. I don't want to say he's one of the guys who I wish if I could open his eyes up to something, God, it would benefit humanity. Humanity, because he's so effing nice. He is the nicest guy I think I've ever met in my life, Dan Washko. Unbelievably sweet. And then beneath that, I have Fizz. Because I only know one other person in any Carolina, and that's Kevin McLaughlin, aka Sir Kevin
Kevin
McLaughlin,
McLaughlin.
in the morning.
Baron, I believe now.
I don't know what he is, but I know this. He's important. I'll just put it like that. He is a important fella.
Does he still listen to this show?
Yeah. I
Cool.
randomly mentioned his name. I know about it. He lets me know he heard it. He's a trucker, dude. Truckers have nothing but time on their hands.
He's a rich trucker, apparently. Jeez.
No. He's not a rich trucker. He has priorities, and he lives in an area. If you don't know Locust Point or Locust, I believe it's Locust Point. It's not, milk is like $1, like 20 a gallon.
Nice.
It's like his cost of living is low. Um, a lot of the people around him have passed away. So he basically takes care of himself and a couple other people. And that's what he does. And he's one of the most honorable people I know because of such. He's the only McLaughlin. He is the only McLaughlin I know in my life that I will happily do something for.
Spoken like a true McLaughlin.
Every other McLaughlin I know is an utter piece of crap. Utter, utter, relentlessly putrid piece of crap. All of them. Everyone. In Cumberland, Maryland, Flintstone, Maryland, Baltimore County, Baltimore City, New York, Florida, Georgia, a couple in Columbus, Ohio. Oh, God. 13
I'm,
generations in this country, in this blasted country. You'd think we would be better by now.
I think that I might have got that Docker image of Nextcloud
Mm,
running.
that's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I need to do some more work on it. I'm going to try to switch over via backup and take what I'm running now and move it over to this Docker image. Because I'm hoping that it'll be 64-bit.
I'm sorry, I moved the wrong way and I almost cried. I need surgery. I don't know when it's going to happen. Oh, God, here's the worst part, dude. I need surgery on my right shoulder. My doctor and the MRI technician said, you need surgery now. The place said, you're not getting it till July. On my right shoulder, my left shoulder has been hurting me more for the last week.
Awesome.
And I try to explain to the wife, as soon as I get surgery on the right shoulder, I'm going to complain to my orthopedist about the left shoulder. And I'm pretty sure as soon as they do another MRI contrast on the left shoulder, they're going to say, oh, wow, you need surgery on that as well. But here's the worst part. I've been told by now 20 people when I get the rotator cuff surgery on the right shoulder, it's going to take between 6 and 12 months to actually recover. which means I'm not going to be pain free and normal until like 2022.
There goes your professional baseball career.
Well, on the bright side, my kids won't be graduated from high school yet. You gotta kind of, you know, look at that as well, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is I am so happy I'm not a addict because the amount of pain I've felt in the last 3 weeks, I'm pretty sure I would have been pretty taken by heroin based products like Oxycontin or something.
Yeah.
Because dude, it's been hurt, it's hurt so much. Oh damn. Hmm.
Yeah, well, there's a reason why these things why there's
Yeah,
such a problem with it.
yeah. One of the nicest guys I know who was in my wedding party died from an OD 2.5 weeks ago. Um, my sister in law's husband, ex husband, and his new wife both tried to OD 2 weeks ago. Um, this is not a good time for addicts, is what I'll say. At all. I'm just so happy I'm not an addict. Oh wait. Let me tell you something. Self and Lennox Fest Northwest is like saying North and South. I can't go further south in July. Now, if I was extremely afraid of the coronavirus, I just might go further south in July because it's hot as crap down there in Self. Um, I will say, ever since Dave Yates stopped being a part of Southeast Linux Fest, I'm not sure I want to partake in such an event. Um, I might like drive down there and be around it, but I don't know if I could partake in it because Dave Yates is like, I don't know, he's like baby Jesus. He's so pure. He's such a nice guy. I don't know if you ever talked to him. He is like one of the smartest Linux users I've met, but one of the most humble Linux users I've ever met at the same token. And when he stepped down from Self, it wasn't just because he wanted to be with his kids. It wasn't just because he wanted to be with his wife. There was ulterior, politically correct motive involved to where he thought he shouldn't be involved with the conference anymore because he's a white male. And since that time, he's been proven correct, is what I'll say. To where there's a lot of things you can't say publicly in that area anymore without being deemed, uh, I don't want to say racist or sexist or anything, but
Wrong.
politically incorrect is what I'll say. And I can tell you right now, Dave Yates is not sexist, not racist, not anythingist. If anybody would help anybody, it's Dave friggin' Yates. But like, I like freedom of speech. because it allows me to immediately identify who is a racist and who is a sexist. Immediately, because they're allowed to speak such. To disallow such freedoms, it makes it harder to identify who is incorrigible, who is the kind of people who should be segregated out, who should be disenfranchised, if you will. So to have policies in place to where you can't speak freely, it makes it much easier for those kind of people to hide in plain sight, is the way I'll put it. And that was one of his arguments when he left that.
I'm gonna try to do an intro door. I
Mhm,
gotta
mhm,
get
mhm.
going, but I don't really have anything, but
If I could wax you, I would.
uh,
I love seeing Red and Fizz in the chat, by the way.
oh yeah.
Red is awesome.
On episode 564 of Android App Addicts, Red is awesome, Fizz is awesome, CJ is awesome, and we go on and on and on. So sit down, buckle up, and prepare to be overwhelmed with Android and life topics. Hey, nay.
It
Yeah.
works.
Oh, yeah.
And no ads. God damn, my neck hurts so much. I literally have a hard time looking at the chat. It hurts. I tell you, Fizz, it's more plausible I come down to Self this year than Linux Fest Northwest, because Linux Fest Northwest should have happened like yesterday or today, because it's typically always the last weekend of April.
Yeah. Good time, though.
Oh my God. Such good people. Except for Chris from, Jupiter Broadcasting. It's great people. Yeah. And Joe Heck, I want to say he spent $4,000 on that dinner. Were you there?
Which one was it? Was that
The the
the
dinner at the seafood
trivia?
place.
Oh, I don't think I was.
There was at least 20 people there, is what I'll say. He spent at least $3,000.
Hmm.
And he kept telling me how I had to try this seafood. And I'm telling him, dude, I'm from Maryland. I know seafood. I don't really want to eat this seafood. Can I pass? And he said, no, this is the best seafood you ever had. And it was crab cakes with jelly. And I never understood such a thing, and I never will. And I tried it, and it was fine. But I told him, without like Old Bay, this is like kid food. And then I saw the bill, and he didn't think I would see the bill. And I saw the bill. It was over $3,000 he paid for it. It was like 20 of us, our dinner and our appetizers and our desserts at some seafood by the dock of the bay kind of establishment. And I thought to myself, what the hell is wrong with you? Why are you paying this bill without insisting people give you money? And then I talked to him for a good 2 to 3 hours, at least afterwards. And he said, I was happy eating and partaking in the entire thing with other people. And that's what conferences are supposed to be about. They're supposed to be about different people meeting, experiencing, and enjoying. So I couldn't tell him he was wrong. And this was a guy who was in the foundry of id Software and Doom. And I hate to say it, you watch any Doom documentary, they will never mention the name Joe Heck. And I can tell you right now, if Joe Heck was not in id Software, nobody would know what id Software was at all. This guy was a effing genius on what he did in the code. Yet they keep talking about like Carmack and other suckers.
Do you have access to my Nextcloud? I couldn't get into yours. I
Let,
put them into the same.
let me check.
Yeah, you should have it.
I
Says you
should.
do. Says you do still. Um,
Let me come here and say it should be. NC dot blah 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 blah. Big money, no whammies, no whammies. Well, I didn't even have to log in. Amazing. I love technology. Might be working. I don't want to talk like William Shatner in like dramatic pauses, but it makes things take longer to
and
complete.
dramatic.
Let me hit enter again. Maybe it will help speed up the process. The noises I've heard out of my neck and the shoulder in the last week have been amazing. When like my wife actually is like in physical contact with me and actually hears the noises coming out of my body, or my youngest son, he's a hugger. When he hugs me and I like squeeze him a little bit, sometimes both shoulders and like between like my collarbone and my shoulder cracks, and he like looks up to me. He says, "Are are you all right?" I just heard a lot of cracks, and I just tell him, "No, I'm not all right. I'm dying." And they says, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, everybody's dying. Don't you understand that?" And then he looks at me like, "Well, I guess you're right." Okay, so there's that. There's the folder, AAA. Bada bing! Click download. Save file. I see 63, 63, 64, 64. I'm downloading all of them because my VJJ tells me I should. Yep. I believe it's already done. So let me double click. Not done. I was wrong. Oh. Hmm. Oh. So it's unknown time left. 72 megs. I'm downloading the entire folder there, Josh.
Oh, okay.
Because I figured that's a surefire way to get everything. And my oldest son has an orthodontist appointment on the 5th.
Good to know.
Well, I keep asking myself, am I going to call them up and ask them, are we going to cancel? Because I'm pretty sure we're going to cancel. Um, considering my oldest son suffers from a autoimmune disease, which means he should be in the upper 80 plus percentile of susceptible people to the COVID. I mean, if you suffer from an autoimmune disease, I think thought you would be, you know, you know, like the
Yeah,
Hillary Clinton of people.
I gotta get going, door.
All right, man. Oh, 174 meg says it's done.
Yeah,
I asked you to
so,
give me like 30 more seconds to where I
yeah,
say this, and I
for
say
sure.
that, and I come over there, and I click this, and I say, bada bing. 64 intro, 64 Josh, 97 megs, and 262 KB. Let me come over here and say, public audio. Convert. I'm close there, Josh.
Yeah, I was just looking at the GitHub on Snapdrop,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't see why it wouldn't work on ARM. I mean, it's vanilla HTML5, ES6, CSS3.
Yep.
It's a progressive web app, WebRTC, WebSockets, Node.js, material design. Seems like it should.
It should, is what I'll say. Okay. I think I have all your files. Looks good. Thank you very much.
All right, man. That was fun. Take it easy, everyone that's still listening. If anyone is still listening.
All right. Thank you, man.
Cool. Take it easy, brother.
Be safe.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Public audio. Bada bing. Convert. There you go. That's what I want. Quit. Close. 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 Okay. Ow. Okay. Dang it. Yeah, I don't see how Linux Fest Northwest could possibly continue as a, in air quotes, normal event. Like at all. 150. Wow, my neck hurts. I tell you what, man, there's no chance whatsoever when I get surgery on my shoulder that I will not feel better. Because I tell you what, man, this hurts so much. So much. Okay, so. 564, 64. Paste. Now let's go. Paste. All right, I'm going to drop off. Fizz and Red, thank you very much for hanging out. I'm sorry I incompetently started the stream. I will upload a proper stream, is what I'll say. It will actually show the beginning of the show. I got to do better at that. Thank you guys for your patience. Thank you guys for coming out. I will talk to everyone again real soon.